Morning, everybody. Welcome along. I forgot to put on the Benny. Okay, here we go. Come on, Benny, here we go. Just thinking about it.
Presenting Benny Goodman and his music.
Here we are, then. Good morning, everybody. Here we are. That should do it. Morning, Karen. Hey, Mona. Hey, Marcia. Hey, Todd, Gladys, Heather. Boker Tov, Lisa. Oh, it is a siren day. That reminds me to pay my rent later, right before I start on my taxes.
Benny Goodman, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the torrid clarinet and
hey, all you groovy Mysterians out there. Hey, Susan, Vicky, Dad and Elaine, Geraldine, Julianne, Timothy. Hey, everybody. Hey, Susan, Vicky.
Blue skies.
Hey, all. Hey, Bob. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, everybody. Hey, Kathleen. Got a couple of things I want to show you guys. Hey, Miles. All right, I think that's enough time for people to start getting online. I got a couple of things I want to show you today. We'll give Benny the pause here. So here is a very cool thing. We all know we've covered quite a bit about this particular photograph, showing these four people now identified. The third couple from the left, the one with the woman kind of slumped over and the guy with his head on his shoulder also kind of slumped over and balding there, not on the end, that is Frank and Betty. Now, it was just brought to my attention, there's actually film footage of this featuring an interview with Frank and Betty. You can also see a little bit of Francis and Jim over on the far left talking through this. I'm just going to pop this in here.
Here we are dancing 24 hours daily at White City, Chicago, in the world's greatest marathon. It originally started here at the White City Ballroom with 126 couples on August the 30th of last year. These dancers are on the floor constantly, 24 hours a day, taking 10-minute rest periods. They are finding considerable difficulty keeping their feet in shape, but they're still going. Not very strong, but nevertheless still going. And that's the main thing in a marathon contest.
Francis Jim back there. He's got his jacket on. And Chris is marking up their dates.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have you meet one of the original couples here in the White City Ballroom Marathon in Chicago that started on August the 30th of last year, Frankie Wagner and Betty Plarsky. How do you feel, Frankie?
Oh, I feel pretty tired. And after going about 5 months, why, we all feel tired, but we hope to win. Whether we ain't gonna walk off this slab until they pull us off.
Well, how's Betty?
Oh, Betty, she's asleep, but I'll wake her up and say a few words. Betty, Betty, wake up!
Oh, Dave, what month is this?
Oh, I guess it's January, about 26th.
Oh, gee. Oh. Well,
You feeling tired?
how's your hot puppies today?
Oh, they feel like hot dogs.
Well, you think we can stick it out, Frankie?
Oh, you betcha. We're going to anyway, till the end.
Well, I hope so anyway. Gee, it's getting tougher every day. I want this darn thing to end.
Fascinating. There's also some more footage from that from newsreels and things. Really fascinating stuff. But what we're going to cover today a bit beyond that is I have been going through the trial of Henry Meyer. It's actually the second trial, it seems, from what I've waded through so far. They had to put this guy on trial in New York twice. He and his wife had concocted a scheme where they were going to fake a guy's death for the insurance money, and then in the end just killed him for the insurance money. This was very similar to what H.H. Holmes did just a couple of years later. He had started out killing his wife and his girlfriend's husband back in Chicago, and then embarked on a whole other career. It's been a whole long thing. We cover it quite a lot on the Patreon, on the serial killer tier. But here's the thing. Just recently, the New York State Archives got in touch with me that they had finally digitized his trial. This is like the front page of it. I'm just going to show you how big this trial is. It comes in like 9 parts, and you can see each of these is like 700, an average of about 500 megabytes. So several gigs worth of data. This is 5,000 pages of transcripts. And this is the second trial. They got about halfway through the first when one of the jurors went nuts and they had to do the whole thing over again. So we've been going through, wading through something like 500 pages of stuff like this. Now here's the interesting thing. Mentions, this was an interview with one of the people who was involved in the scheme with him, who then traveled back to Chicago from New York. And back in Chicago, Meyer met up with him on 12th Street, which is now Roosevelt's, right about like Roosevelt and Halsted, it sounds like. He showed up and said, I took the train on the Erie line all the way to Englewood and then walked up here. So this means he would have gotten off on the Erie Line's railroad station in Englewood. That was known as the Little Englewood Station on 63rd Street, pictured right here. Where'd I go? I will move myself back up to here. Now here is a more recent shot of the Englewood Station. This is from the 1970s, so recent. And then you can see the overpass here, the trestle that crossed over Wallace Street, the Wallace Street overpass, which you also might recognize from this other picture of the H.H. Holmes murder castle. So, 1892, Henry Meyer got off the train, fresh from murdering a guy named Baum back in New York, took the train back to New York. When he got off, he was right outside of the H.H. Holmes murder castle. Then at the height of its powers in 1892, excellent chance that upon stepping off the train, he might have walked right into the drugstore. I looked and looked to see if he actually elaborated on this any. I didn't really see much. But just looking at this, though, you got the murder castle there. You got the station where Dr. Meyer showed up over on the left. Just over on the right, you can practically see the cottage where Johann Hawk lived and where he killed Maria, his last wife. His last wife that he killed, anyway. So, all right. Putting together about as much as I can today, as I'm off to New York again in the morning, so I'll be there for the next few days, and after that I've got to tramp around a little bit following some Dylan concerts around, but I will be getting on as often as I can, as usual, so thanks everybody for joining me. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tours. Tomorrow I'll be up in the air. If you want to see more about the Henry Meyer trial, that guy's testimony takes up like 3 weeks worth of posts. It's huge, the most detailed account of Meyer's crimes I have seen yet, and I'm only on like page 70 of this trial transcript out of like 5,000. Lots and lots of cool stuff here. So everybody, thanks a lot for joining me. Sign up on the Serial Killer tier on the Patreon if you haven't already. There's lots of cool stuff. This stuff has never been seen before. It's been buried in microfilm reels that nobody looked at for a long time. I recently asked to get access to it. They said they'd already sent them off to be digitized. So that actually worked out all right. So, okay, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me once again. Tomorrow night there won't be one of our regular full-length tours. I will be off and about. There goes Miles off into the window to go mess with the squirrels. So thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tours. Watch for some new updated events here very soon. And until then, stay safe and stay strong. And of course, everybody, stay spooky. If you're in Wisconsin, go vote in the state Supreme Court race.